I would like to see us do.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready to begin. Feel free to keep eating, drinking, whatever you need to do. I just have a few things kind of for business. We have a new member of our team. She's not able to be here today. Her name is Cora Arney. She's taken over for Teresa's position, but she's also expanded that position as well. She is going to be in charge of the entire experience of a student. So from the first time a student finds out about Baker Hunt, their first contact with Baker Hunt, she's going to be in charge of that whole experience. So it includes our social media output. She's going to be in charge of all of that, and not just recording and making sure the student's experience here at Baker Hunt is the best it can be from the very first day until their last day and signing up for the next session. So welcome her to the team. If you see her in the office or see her around your classrooms, she's got glasses on, blonde hair, and you'll see her walking around campus. So make her feel welcome here at Baker Hunt. So she just went through her first week last week, and she's been enjoying it, and I think she's going to be an excellent addition here. And then she wanted me to relay the message that she would like all of our teachers to start sending her as many photos as possible. Any kind of references that you have to your students' artwork or your students' experience teaching in the classroom, she would like to receive as much of that as possible. So things you have from previous sessions, any kind of content that she can use to help promote your classes, she would like to have that, if at all possible. And that relates to any type of websites or social media presence that you have. We would like to include that in your page bio on the website. So any type of information like that that you could possibly give to us, things like a personal website, Instagram accounts, things like that that can give a student who's looking to take your class a better sense of what the class is about. So any type of content like that that you could provide to us would be appreciated. Some other things that we wanted to address were anytime, and this applies more to youth classes, there's an adult in the classroom. We're trying to eliminate that if at all possible, just because we have not fully vetted those people, and we've run into a few instances over this last session where adults are trying to hang out in the classroom or just stay in there. Please just let them know that it's not in our policy that parents stay in a classroom after that class is being taught or started in teaching. We do have areas, especially in the mansion, where people can wait. So if you could just redirect them to those areas, we'd appreciate that. I'm going to forward all of those things in an email to everyone, just so all the teachers are on the same page. And then I'm also going to send a video recording of this whole meeting to all of our teachers as well, or at least have an area where everyone can access that if you'd like to go back to this meeting for future reference. Okay. Other than that, make yourselves at home. We're going to be doing some different things here with our speaker. His name is George Shkelly. He's a professor at the University of Kentucky. He was one of my professors. And I just wanted him to come here and sort of share his knowledge in education, especially in art education.
I heard my name, I came back through the door. And he was a very good student.
So I'll turn it over to you, and you can kind of just lead us through that.
You join me in the little foyer here. No. Come to my office. Yeah, have a seat.
You have natural needs, you can sit down like that. Some of us are strictly titanium, so
We will
don't.
discuss the health situation, but They're anything but natural.
When I die and I'm cremated, there's gonna be 2 big amounts of lead.
I understand.
Oh, they're-
Believe me.
It's
I'll tell you
okay.
the story later.
Do you want to share over here?
There's another chair.
We need another chair.
Compliments to the U.S. Army.
Well, I want to thank Hunter for inviting me. And let me, a little disclaimer before we start. Okay? I don't want anybody that I present to a group that I present to, and I think it's important to say. Art teaching I consider as my art. I used to have little badges that everybody, art teaching is my art. And it's a very popular badge that I gave out to all my presentations. I really do believe it's your art. And once you veer away too much from your art and look at education, I think you're kind of lost. So I think the closer you stay to your art, the better you are as an art teacher. And your uniqueness in your art, your uniqueness in your teaching is something that you must maintain. And there are fads, I've been teaching 50 years now. The fads constantly, there are changes in the education system because people are writing doctors constantly and trying to change the system for a short while. State mandates, but I'm not here to tell you that, because that would not be the truth, that there is a correct way to teach. There's one way to teach. There's not one way to paint, right? So stay with what you're doing, Don't, I'm not here to say, you have to change that. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. In fact, it's all right, what you're doing. And I'm sure you're doing a great job, and you should keep doing it. Okay? But what we do with my students, my children, when I give presentations, is simply exchange ideas, possibilities, but not, I tell my students it's not a matter of becoming Sekeli's. Although in art school there's a very strong tendency for the art teachers who have tremendous, magnetic, big personalities, and you see the students doing work very much like they're doing in the hallways or in shows. The one thing that I would like to tell you is that I'm very proud that my students don't do the same work. They decide on the work, they collect the things, they collect their ideas, they make their plans, and I'm there to cheer them on, But it's not a matter that they come in like other classes and everybody does the same thing. The teacher orchestrates and, oh, you had a good idea. The teacher had a good idea. And so I remember one of my grandchildren, now she's a teacher herself. She said, I'm the best art teacher. And I said, oh, that's so great to hear. She has the best ideas. And I step back a little because I want her to walk through that door, and every student that you have to walk through that door feeling that they have the best ideas, okay? And that they can work without the art teacher. Art teaching is basically helping people to become their own art teachers. It's to establish independence, so when they are in their own studio, it's not a matter of, well, I'll take another course. Art teachers always say to me in the public schools, when I retire, I'll take another course. It doesn't work like that. It's a lifelong endeavor, obviously, you know that. And this independent spirit can start in the youngest children. In fact, it's alive and probably most active in the youngest children. So the youngest kids open their pockets or open their lunch boxes, you know, there's magic in there. And they're not just objects, but they're great ideas. Okay, so there is no need for an art lesson that's my art lesson to supersede that, what they're already coming in with. It's really recognizing their vast resources, their ability to look at everything in many different ways, and really encourage all the things that Picasso and 20th century art has so admired. So we have artists in our class, and first of all, to talk to them as artists. Okay? Not that we're the teachers, we know best. You know, I constantly walk through in a college situation these critiques where the eager students sit online and, you know, wait for the judgment of the master, as if the master really had the answers to their, you know, or the path, or even the plan of what, or the foresight of where they want to go. But you know, there it is. There is the critique. You know, generally very close, the same thing for everyone. So it doesn't work that way. So as an artist, all of you working in a situation like this, which is just wonderful, you really have this incredible freedom. You don't have the standards and the state and all this crazinesses. So you can really open up a whole new world to the children of all ages. Okay, so with that understood, okay, make a deal. I've been very, you know, I'm so busy with school and work and my painting and books and stuff. But twice now, I'm so really fortunate. Twice I've been to Cincinnati in 2 weeks. I mean, the Cincinnati, greatest Cincinnati. But I went to the mid-century show. That was the first trip. And I very much enjoyed it. It was kind of funny because I always look for in antique stores or Goodwill or, you know, in some of these great art supply stores. Michael's is not the art supply store, it's the world everywhere. And we need to teach that to our future artists, okay? Because the art will be everywhere. It may be made from ice cream or ice or who knows what the art is going to look like. So, and certainly Michael's will not have that, okay? So you have to look everywhere. That's really to be supplied and ready to find things everywhere to make art with. This is, I think, extremely important. So we have people going around the mid-century show and they're looking for treasures. And I love the conversation. This rubber band, you know, it's going to be so valuable. And they wait till 5 years. You know? Well, and it's not quite the things that I'm looking for. You know, this great Wall Street investments. But I look for things that are fun that I can bring to class that the children will enjoy playing with and enjoy touching. Every occasion of your teaching is an opportunity to present yourself to the kids and to present everything about yourself. It's not the teacher. I was told when I took my teaching courses, you don't smile. There's all these things. But I think you have to open up your heart, your studio, everything to the kids, your interests, your collections. Everything is of interest to the kids. You know, the things you pick up on the way to school, everything is part of your teaching. You know, you are the lesson that you're bringing to the kids. It's not a trick in shading or perspective, whatever. It's you who is really that great influence, who will stay with them, who they will remember. So in terms of looking, whether it's the mid-century show or anywhere else, I'm looking for things that kids are interested in and not how much the rubber band will be worth in the future. And I did find some interesting things, actually. there was I think 55 or 56 Chevy dashboard, little plastic dashboard for kids, of course. You just hung it, you just put it on the car, and then the kids could play in their back seat. It's beautiful. It reminded me of my playing car and driving in our home. And I used my mother's pot covers as my steering wheel. And I used to make my left turns and race around the dining room table. But my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, was with me, and we kind of made believe we drove down the aisles of the convention center, without pretend. There was a great teddy bear, a Steve teddy bear. I don't know if you know Steve teddy bear. I mean, these are just wonderful teddy bears. I had one actually, but I used to take it apart. I used to cut it apart all the time. And my mother, dutifully, she sewed it back together because she knew that her son is going to become a doctor. So, it just was an important task to keep him going. I brought the Steve teddy bear. I introduced them to all my classes this past week. And they were very interested in having them meet their stuffed animals. So on Thursday they brought in their stuffed animals. So we had a great time dressing them in the fashion show, and it was everything that the children designed and created for them. But it's important that the kids' stuff comes to class, that it's not left out. I worked with many teachers. One I remember was Harvey, Harvey Razor, a long time in Brooklyn. But Harvey Razor always at lunchtime, come over, Sir Kelly, look what I got. He opened his drawers and showed me all the stuff he took away from the children. And it felt just like the Montessori thing when I drove my kids around the Montessori school. I got to the start of the line, the parent line, and I had to remind them that you can't bring that to school. You can't. Please leave that on the seat. It'll be there when you come back. All the good things that they dreamed about all day, all the interesting things that they loved, had to be put aside and walk into school with maybe the Wall Street Journal. It's important to bring the fun things to class, and because from these things are from their figures, from their finds of all kinds come the ideas, and there's also a sense of comfort being with these special figures. So whatever you can allow to come into school, the contraband. I used to have a little packet saying "top secret," somehow to get by the front door monitor, that it was okay. This is for art, And the kids couldn't wait to show me, they wanted to. So it was already. The art lesson is very simple. You have to see the kids' faces. If this is what we're going to do there. If they're smiling, if they're excited, that's the educational test. It's very simple. Just are they excited? Yeah, that's a good lesson. We usually had breakfast together with my children, and they always wanted, well, what are you going to do in school today? And I went through, and it was a great moment to test. This is the way to test, by talking and discussing things with children. And so next I hear, well, that sounds good. Is it okay if I stay home and come to school with you? But it also gave me confidence when they said that, And my wife was there, but she said, yeah, you can come to school. Montessori had this great policy that it's important for kids to come to school with their parents, so they did spend a lot of time. No wonder they became art teachers, but have nothing to do with that. Anyway, back to I got drifted away a little bit, but back to the show, and there were wonderful things there, and I found things that certainly I wanted to share with the class. And before I even unwrapped it from the package, the dealers, they do a very nice job in packing things up. But before I unpacked it, the unpacking ceremony, it's like a birthday ceremony. You do in class. I did in class, and the kids help, and it's wow, this is so. I want them to be part of this occasion. Oh yes, and this I found. Move it around. It's a Cinderella cleanup kit. It's not the typical mid-century Danish, right? But it has just wonderful things inside. All these mops and it has even a little apron put on. By the way, apron collections are so wonderful. I love and they particularly to have fun in an art class. The art teacher needs to lead the way, and then it's contagious. And the art class must be fun. School is so dreary, it's so sad. So when I walk in with my apron and my mop, and say, let's paint with my mop, here's some mops and aprons. But, the kids laugh, but that's part of it, the fun that you can create. So thinking about how can you create a fun experience, a play experience for the kids. And it all comes from play, from the chores. The children, I just got a picture from one of the youngest grandson in California, and Hai is his name, H.I. So Hai was putting everything and hiding everything in the refrigerator. It's a toy refrigerator that he got. He's packing it all in. Now all these things go somewhere, and they go into art. In case you're wondering where they're going. I can tell you that my 8, 9, I believe, my own daughter Anna, she never helped me with the groceries out of the car or helped me to bring up to it. But she was willing always to arrange the groceries in the refrigerator. And when it was finished, we were supposed to come to the opening, the grand opening of the refrigerator. Once we had a lot of fun because my wife actually put a party dress on and I put on a black suit and tie. So we went to the opening of the refrigerator. But all these wonderful skills of sorting, of arranging, it's a canvas. It's just a three-dimensional canvas. Setting the table, for example, when company came. There was always an argument, who's going to set the table? That's a great children's art form. But you take any one of the children's chores, and they make it into not only fun, but they make it really a foundation for their art. So this is fun, but it's serious business, and I just want you to see all these wonderful things in there, including great brushes. Right? We're always looking for brushes, and the kids love to find unusual brushes. One of the children brought in a whole broken vacuum cleaner, but he didn't care about the vacuum cleaner. It came with about 4 or 5 of these luscious brushes, and he couldn't wait to use it and paint with them. So, wow, it's a great idea. So if you're worried that you go into class and you don't have the lesson, don't worry. There are 30 lessons out there. Okay, there are plenty of great lessons out there, and all you have to do is just help make them happen. There's another brush in there. Look at this brush. Beautiful. Yeah, there's another brush. Okay. So the students in my class, and I work with kindergarten through 12th grade to college to all different groups. We adopt different schools every year in Lexington, and now it's more of a national thing. But in these schools, the kids are always collecting. They're always bringing in things. They may not keep a formal sketchbook, but they scribble on everything. And those scribbles we take seriously. And the kids are the stars of the class. And they come first. It's important who comes first. Because if you come first, it's very difficult for the children to override that lesson and say, well, I'm not going to do that. Some kids are strong as an art. You have to be a weightlifter, to kind of resist all these forces. Your neighbor is going to tell you, oh, that doesn't look like anything. And so you have to be, but this idea of asserting that independence is pretty hard. And but if they bring in these little things, and they're the first to start the class, and they're the first to show things, the first to tell about them. Show and tell is not just for kindergarten. In fact, today it doesn't even exist in kindergarten anymore. Oh, it's time for that, right? So why is that important? Okay, but the children are always encouraged every single time they come into our class, no matter if they're high school, elementary, to look at places. And they bring things from the backyard, from what they find on the floor, from what they find in the kitchen trash. Somehow they always know. I told you not to throw that out, but they know I threw it out. I don't know how kids know that. Dad, I told you not to throw that out. And they go in the trash can and show me that I threw it out. Guilty. But that's one of the places that, so in the trash can in an art classroom, it's certainly legitimate and fun to browse. But everywhere, Goodwill, Salvation Army, flea markets, you name it, the fun places you like to go. It was funny because my neighbor's son got accepted to MIT. And I said, wow, MIT, that's great. And I went right over to the lady and congratulations, you must be so proud. Just nothing. What are you so excited about? I said, what do you mean? It's MIT. Your son is going to MIT. She says, well, I always took him to Goodwill. And he always had a separate cart and we could buy whatever he wanted. And I couldn't stop him talking on the way home of what he wanted to do with all this stuff. So she was proud. She was proud that she was doing the right thing. In fact, she was, because we encouraged the kids to go to all these places and to find things. So once you found them, we get on the floor and we play with them. We don't use tables. Okay, first of all, tables. Again, this is just my. But they sit at tables all day. It's for tests, it's a scary place. And we bought great tables, beautiful tables for all three of my children to do their homework. It became a big coat pile and everything else, but I've never seen them do it on their fine table. It still has not seen homework, the table. So not on the table, and of course the table has the school written all over the scariness, and of course the table is like holding a pencil, the stiffness of it, and your elbow, and you just, can I have an eraser, can I have another pen? It's a scary place. So if you want to play with children, which is essential in the school, they forget to play, not that they don't know how to play. If you look at the resumes, they're great players. But you have to bring the play back to the classroom. So when I talk about driving the pop cover, we actually do that. Or we, all these things that we play under the table, we play, we're stacking the chairs and make, the kids come up with all kinds of barber chairs and sleds and fun things with the furniture and everything else in the room. The room is the teacher's canvas. And there's big canvases, big walls, big floors, big ceilings. And there are all kinds of things in the room that you can use. In addition to, we always have areas where they can shop. And shopping is very big, not just the shopping that they do before they come to class. The children to be as ready as the art teacher when they come to class. They need to be as prepared as the art teacher. And I take practically a U-Haul to go to school, with all the stuff I collect. This is my thing, all that would fit into my wife's little car, but I have a big van. But the kids are constantly shopping before school. They get ready for the lesson. It's not the art teacher. It's not just the art teacher. And the same thing, the shopping sites are all over the room. And they're interesting containers. They're in hat boxes, and I like vintage containers of all kinds. Amelia Earhart makeup totes and all these wonderful containers that are just pennies at garage sales. And it's all over, and they're always big stuff. Kids bring surprises. They want to surprise me and each other, and they always have fun things inside. So that also supplements with what they bring in. So between playing with all these items, there's just a wealth of art materials. And the idea that everything is an art material, which is an important future artist concept, they become very used to that, and we do it right from the first class. We scour every room, we go through the cafeteria, what's left over after lunch. There are lots of places even within the school, but everything is an art supply. They know it, they collect it, they sort through it, and they make things with it. And everybody at the end of the art class, you can see if your art class was successful. It's very simple. There are no duplicate works. There is no really trace of one teacher's idea. Everything is original. Everything is invented. And the art room is the center of the school's invention. Now you have the science people trying to claim this, the math people are trying to claim this, and they're all using kits, I went to the math convention, I spoke at the principals convention in Miami, and thousands of dollars made on these kits, how to make a parachute. Well, we all knew as kids how to make parachutes, and we made some really great original parachutes. But there is a $25 kit for that the schools purchase, so why do it? And so everything is pre-programmed in this kit. We are still, and this is the way that we can successfully become the major subject and most important part of the school, that we stand for innovation. And one of the things I've been doing for the past 2 or 3 years now is I had a grant where I made up these to go over the art room door, so there's no doubt about it. Everybody going into that school knows this room, the art room, is the center for innovation. And that's what we do in the art room, we innovate. So I found a lot of people interested in hanging this up, and I'm delighted to hear it. And also, we incorporated in various states now a lot of building, a lot of constructing, a lot of three-dimensional inventions, making iPhone 20, what would the next generation of look like. And with without the license of an architect, an interior designer, a professional packaging designer, kids come up with the most amazing things. I mean, the stadiums the kids create is fantastic. The ideas they have for museums, for creating museums, or any of our contemporary public buildings. We had a child who brought in just some cardboard toothpaste boxes. I mean, I would prefer his train. Of course, I asked for it, but he took it home. A great train set he made with all the different bridges and tunnels and all these elaborate things. So we make toys. We build toys. We use our hands. We make things. And these things are playable and not just stuff to put on the refrigerator. So the toys are to be continued to play with at home. So there's plenty of room in a highway or a park or any of our projects to add to that at home and add other pieces or include your toy figures in that play. And these are used, your artwork is used, and I place a great emphasis on using good tape and good glue, so these things don't just fall apart. If they're pulling a float for a parade, they don't look back and it's 1,000 pieces. So we made good toys, and we use wood scraps from the wood shop, lots of found objects the kids bring in, and they make great things, and it's great fun. And it's not just goes on the refrigerator and comes home. If they do paintings, they learn really how to create these things and become very confident because there's no plan or a blueprint that the teacher shows them, and then they can still do that. Isn't that amazing? But you know that. My daughter was, you never play with me. I said, Anna, just tell me, come into my room. So I go into the room, I sit on the carpet just like this. And she said, wait a minute, okay, time out. So she goes around the house collecting materials, supplies, in the trash can, everywhere, medicine cabinet, all kinds of things. Now we're ready. Doesn't mean that she's waiting for me to give her a lesson. We're ready to make things. Okay, so there's bank one, that Chase Bank that she created. I was working on something else. I was building a camera. So it's, this idea that they can't function without our clever lesson is silly. Okay, it's amazing what they come up with, and they use it, and as you'll see in some of the slides, they're highly playable. Also, in terms of history, they're not all that interested in the history of Western art, or they're interested in the history of yo-yos, in the history of playhouses, and in that you can tell them the whole history of architecture. The history of phones, what was there anything before the iPhone? Some great phones. And if you show them some of the children's versions of these phones, going back to 20, 30, 50 years, it's very exciting to show them the history of anything, dustpans. So it's important to collect and share and bring the museum to them. In Fayette County right now, there is zero money for school trips to the museum. And I'm not sure the museum is the only place they should go. Of course they should see a museum. Hopefully they get somebody who's understanding and not just reads all the information to them, which really can turn the kids off. Museum should be a place to play. And there are lots of great plays to do in a museum, which would really be memorable for the kids. But there's a history to all of these objects. The dustpan, for example. Just a few beautiful examples of these old dustpans that you can pick up and share with the kids. So look at your hair curler collections. They're magnificent. Hair curlers back to the 50s. So every day while they're in your room, they're not slides, they see that projector they see all day. It's either a handout sheet or the projector. In the art room, we don't need a projector. Show them real things that they can put in their hands. Okay? And they'll be very gentle with it. I've shown them some beautiful china, some great jewelry, and you know, they're very respectful. Nothing will be broken, don't worry. Yes, they come back. But it's a different kind of thinking about history. It's falling in love with beautiful things. Having this respect and falling in love with beautiful things is what we're talking about. It's not memorizing. In my art school, we had to memorize the toes and the fingers of the sculptures, the Greek sculptures, the Roman sculptures. Just insanity when you think of from some of these college education courses. But you want the kids to see these wonderful toys of different periods. Kids should be familiar with Schwinn, with Holgate, with Holgate toys, with Marx toys, with Lionel, of course, with a great American gem. So we have, and they're in museums now. The show that had the largest population around the corner 3 times at the Met was a baseball card show, for heaven's sake. It was, you know, so, yeah, it was a baseball card show. But in each session, so just something small, but with each session, show them beautiful things. And that's how you fall in love with things. My dad was wonderful. He gave me 5 forint. Forint is Hungarian money. 5 forint for combing, and it was just a comb he gave me. My first job, combing the fringes of our Oriental carpets. Under communism, we're not supposed to have wealth or money or whatever, but somehow Oriental carpets slipped under the radar. So my parents kept a lot of beautiful Oriental carpets, which eventually we couldn't take out. But my job was to comb the fringes of the Oriental carpets. Well, you know, I fell in love with Oriental carpets. And it's something that I still enjoy in the house, even in the mid-century show. They had some interesting Danish carpets from the 50s. Then I graduated. They had trusted me. I could handle the carpets. So now what is next, right? Promotion. So I went to the vitrine. You know what the vitrine is? It's very much like this. It's a glass showcase. Vitrine is Hungarian for glass showcase. And Hungarian word. Vitrine. And in the vitrine, they had all the family china. So I was allowed to take it one by one and to dust it. to dust it and make sure that it was clean. So I was very proud to have such trust and to handle the china. And I wouldn't you know it, that I have a great collection, and I love porcelain. I love these pieces. But that's how that's the art history and the falling in love with beautiful things. It's not this forced, count the fingers and look at the toes. So each time that they come into your class, always think of how you can bring the museum in. And it may be through parents, grandparents. We had wonderful quilts by grandmothers who created these quilts. We had family possessions that were brought to class, but also build up your own fun collection. And it doesn't have to be expensive, because many of these items, for example, I have cereal box prizes that I've been collecting, and I also have all kinds of old supermarket containers and many things which some people want, but they're still not in the large. In other words, they're not so expensive that we can't afford them, and it's something that you're going to be using. So start these collections, and also what you had as a child, the kids are very interested in. They love to see family albums, your first buy, and the kids come in. I don't take attendance, but on the board they draw their attendance. They draw their first cake, their most exciting, their first tricycle, an exciting lunchbox. What was the most memorable lunchbox they had? Their childhood pillow that they were fond of. Slippers, which are great art for. I love children's slippers. That's another collection. And you can always go backwards to the history of slippers and then contemporary slippers. You can go and show them what exists right now. There are some great examples of new lunchboxes and then the old lunchboxes. Old pencil cases, they're fantastic. I love my collection, but there are also some really beautiful pencil cases today. So you can develop your collections in different directions. So let me just, laundry day and cleaning, just to continue with the theme of cleaning, was always very special in my house. It was done by hand. It was hung in the backyard. And I always loved the different clothes clips. So you can see the various clothes clip collections that I have. Why don't you just look into the container? It's a nice container to keep it in. I love the laundry lines my mother had. I used to build all kinds of things on it. It was a balancing act for my figures. The light shining through the laundry was a great stage, for shadow shows. I remember the first lesson that I taught in elementary school in Brooklyn many years ago came from the laundry, which was cable cars. In Brooklyn, the school the schoolyard is very friendly. It's just like prison. It has a chain link fence, up to 10-foot chain link fence with the barbed wires, the whole thing. I don't know if they have this in prison. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, but you can connect your cable cars from one side to the other very easily, and the kids love creating these wonderful cable car creations. The laundry baskets I loved very much. I remember it was my fort, it was my battleship with a balloon on it. It was my hot air balloon. And we had the old laundry baskets, not the plastic laundry baskets, but laundry baskets are still a lot of fun to play with. I love the different hangers, because the hangers again can be used to create another world, another hanging world. They're all just wonderful, wonderful pieces. You're welcome to look through them after the presentation, but So, again, another item which the children like to collect, and frequently they bring in some unusual hangers. So they see it, they begin to see it as a work of art, as something beautiful. At the same time, they will have ideas for it, what they want to do with it. And it's not the typical library mobile, you know. They come up with far more interesting ideas than adults do. So they come up with great variations for that. So think of times in your life, tell stories to your class. They love to hear your stories of your childhood, of your growing up. They love to see examples of some things that you've collected. And that's very much part of our teaching. And these things are unforgettable. They'll forget the PowerPoints. They've seen enough. You know? But having some of these things in their hands, they'll remember.
You've got empathy for the children, and that's what your thing is. Pass.
Thank you. But yeah, we should. Now, one of the biggest thrills in my life is my mother allowed me to use the iron, and it was not a toy iron. She allowed me to use a real iron, and she gave me a piece of cloth. And I began to realize that a canvas doesn't have to be a flat piece of paper or a flat piece of fabric. That you can actually iron a canvas into 1,000 different shapes, and you can iron a paper with plain irons into many different shapes. So the kids really enjoy these ironing plays and pretend plays of ironing. This was actually
Are you familiar with the things on Internet, Artsonia?
Yes.
Works in schools.
Before we go to the slides, do you have any questions? Please, stop and raise your hands.
I don't have a question, but I just want to say I feel so vindicated by this display. It's amazing. It's true. I have the whole studio full of stuff.
Good.
You would love your studio.
You know, I was 24 years old in my
I'm sorry.
second art school degree, one, a few too many, before I got to see one of my teacher studios. That's ridiculous. My students get to see my studio on a regular basis. So they understand what I do, and in my studio the collections are displayed. And our homes are just different than other people's homes. We collect interesting things. So all as a visit, either bringing it in, but also to see the studio where you work and where you live. It's an extremely important experience. So let them into your life. That's the art teaching, and that's a gift that you can give the children. Let them into your life. Don't think so much about what lesson I'm going to give them, and this is, they have to know this. They know so much, which really doesn't come out in most art classes. I have great presentations. I'm glad you said that, because I was ready for Ida Pannon, who wrote to me that she feels so bad that she took away everything from her children. And she sold all their toys when they were young. So you're still fine.
Well, you know, people say, people don't understand, they say, wow, you have a lot of stuff. Or what are you gonna do with all this stuff? And I'm like, get away from my stuff.
Not give it to you.
Stuff. I need it.
That's why it's so interesting, the lunchbox, because you know you can. Kids feel it's a safe. You know? So you can do anything, but you can't touch my lunchbox. And after lunch, everybody hated lunch duty. I remember in PS 157. But I loved lunch duty because the performances with the apple cores, what was left over after lunch, you know, the little sticks and the foils, they made shows that were better than Broadway shows to kids. And it's the same thing when they're waiting for food at McDonald's or any of the other places. You know, they with the sugar packets and you know the condiment containers and the sticks and you're good. You know, you help me clean up after we finish eating. You're such a good job. But you,
Yeah, that would be I'm still playing.
So you want to bring all that in my car, in my new car? No. And then the parents, the bargaining that goes on the line, just listen to the bargaining on the checkout line in the store. It says, you don't need that. You have so much at home. You have so much junk at home, okay? They don't call it treasure. So much junk at home. So you need more junk. But nobody really stops and asks the kids, what are you going to use that for? Because if they did, the kids will just rattle off like 50 ideas, you know? Very fast, they'll come up with such great ideas in a short time, but they're not asked. They're already put under the fence. And you know who I'm rooting for at the end of the line. But it's hard. Parents don't want to store it. The schools don't want to let the stuff in. So, you know, you have to be very creative in terms of getting all these things into your art program. But it's beyond Billy and Smith and Crayola. I was actually had the honor of probably being the first or only person being fired by Crayola. I had this contract to travel along with the Crayola exhibit all around the country. And I hated the exhibit. It was all adult work, you know. It's kind of, most schools I go into, it's kind of copies of adult work. Oh, there is a Miro there. Oh, there is a Picasso there, you know. Yes. What are you studying today? Oh, we're studying Kandinsky, you know. Well, Kandinsky has done his art, you know. It's not a matter of copying Kandinsky. Anyway, they, and nobody, I didn't think any of the Crayola people were in the audience, so I started talking about how other things besides Crayola. Crayola is just one of many things that, you know, well, did you try, you know, my kids try lipstick and they paint with shoe polish, and, you know, that shoe polish with the little sponge top.
Yeah,
That's
those
a
are the
wonderful
ones, yeah.
Bingo markers. I mean, nail polish was the biggest thing. I mean, all my children have incredible paintings from nail polish. They combined it with chewing gum, you know. It's just beautiful picture frames they make. Kids have great ideas, you know that. And so they didn't like the idea of directing them in, God forbid, another direction than Crayola. So, shall we see the other?
Thank you.
If anyone needs to use the restroom or get some refreshments, there's a lot of the kitchen, it all is for
Need a lot in our place.
That's one reason I want to get there.
Getting up and down, but it's still hard.
Station that my daughter, who's at DKU, and I'm at UK, we collaborated on. And if you'd like to see our site, you can look at, and there are teachers from all over the world contributing. Please go to Play and Art on Facebook. And this is our first convention, no cost. You're welcome, please, for one day or for two. I would love to see all of you or any of you. This is a little poster, so you can look at it. We hope to have one every year, and if this goes well. There's another site called Play-Based Art Teaching. They're both of our sites from this, Play-Based Art Teaching. And we have almost 10,000 members from all over the world. Also, two of my last books. If you like a copy, just put your address on the back. There are many other books on georgesekeli.org or georgesekeli.com. And you'll see all my books, my paintings, and my other books on education. My new book, which will be in a year, is called Learning Art from Children. That's book number 16 in education. So georgesekeli.com or georgesekeli.org, and remember us, this is at the end of the summer, and you can come for one day or for two to our convention. And there are great speakers, and be very active. We'll actually do some of these plays. And we have already, if you like to present, let me know, or let my daughter know.
Yeah, I do.
So just write on Play-Based Art Teaching, and Ilona will get back to you. Okay. You smiling? You know the site?
No, I just like, I love your presentation.
Oh, okay. So look at Play-Based Art Teaching. It's a lot of fun. And okay. Just, one second. This is a gift that my student last semester gave me. It was kind of a surprise because it was not a project of any sort, didn't assign anything like this, but he said this is kind of summarize some of the things that I talked about during my semester. So the art room is a discovery place to try the unusual, what has not been done or seen before. And that's something I mention all the time. I don't just say, well, that's nice, that's beautiful, I like that. Who cares? It's better to say specifically that, boy, that's a great invention. And go into the details of how that's different than the ordinary book or ordinary building or window or lamp or shoe or whatever. This is the three-dimensional part. And I'm a painter, so we do a lot of painting, but we combine painting with building and making things. And after you build something, you feel such inner strength and knowledge of what you have done by having made it and constructed it, that the paintings are so much better. So instead of starting with painting, which you can occasionally, but try actually having the kids build something and then make a drawing, a print, or a painting from it. They're the experts then. And it won't be a copy, don't be surprised. It'll be quite original, but full of ideas that they've tested out in their three-dimensional work. The art room, which I talked about, is a shopping place for finding multiple possibilities in the simplest forms. And the simplest forms is, of course, what I talked about. But the idea of finding many possibilities in any form. And we start at the beginning of the semester, we go under the table and we talk about this, the kids come up with all kinds of things of what that space could be, supermarket, a mall, and tunnel, whatever, cave, or just use all the chairs in the room, put in the center of the room, play with them, see what you can come up with. You know. Get all your pencils together, get all your rulers. Erasers are great. Get all the erasers together. What can you do with them? A stage for animation and improvised performances with objects and figures. We have Barbie aerobics classes. Would you like to join? That's so funny. I love Barbie aerobics classes. But all kinds of performing. If you have not seen a child do ventriloquist act, they're great. If you have not seen a third grader do magic, I'm talking about magic that they invented and made all the props for, made the costume for. That is the fun. It's so good, you know, it's so delicious. And it's so important that you have fun teaching. You know, we forget ourselves. But it's reciprocal, you know, if you really have fun, you laugh, you enjoy teaching. It makes all the difference in the classroom. Okay, it's a podium for students to share their collections, ideas, and plans. Okay, so there are many stages. I have crates, I have all kinds of stage-like props around the room that the kids can borrow. I have large gold-leafed picture frames that they can put their head in and put all their puppets with their head and put all their creations and say hello to you. So there's so many of these podiums. In my house, it used to be the front of the fireplace. Here comes Johnny, you know, Johnny Carson. One sister announces to the other, and then she comes in with my clothes, wearing my clothes. But kids need a stage. In some homes, it's the stairs, right? If they come down. These things need to continue. Okay, don't let it die. They can be continued in every grade. Block playing, everything is a block. Why do we let it go? Why don't we even do block playing anymore? But everything is a block, so just continue that direction, think of everything as a block, put things together as these fantastic. I took a class to Chicago and I'm looking, I said, listen, when I went to Chicago with my professor, he told us this was the place of wonder. This is America. And he said to me, what's a little dated, you know? This was a 5th grader, a little dated. You know? I looked out the window and I said, yeah, I think you're right. So they took everything, the cups, everything, you know, that's around the area of the hotel where they serve drinks. They took everything. They got more from the hotel help. And they built the most amazing things, you know, that really brought Chicago up to date. Okay, playing house is very important. And we have plenty of fabrics of all kinds, things to cover umbrellas, things that they can go under. Of course, we have the tables where chairs can be moved. Things can be draped, so there can be private studios in the room. I mean, there's so many fun things that you can do by playing house. Why start playing house? And the furnishings that come out of that is just amazing. Okay. Okay. This is the only one I'm going to read in a short time. Kids are futurists. It's very important to treat them as futurists and phrase you from you're talking to them about the future and have a rocket launch, develop. In the flea market, I found this hamster cage, and I never wanted hamsters for my kids. I still feel guilty about it. But it's an amazing, it looks like a house on another planet, a house in the future. So I brought in the hamster cage, the hamster. But the children loved it, and just added and added to it. I mean, if you want to talk about extensions, you know, it was extended into the hallway. They took off from this hamster cage. So the future is what I'm talking about. I talked about iPhone 20, but we try to project what's going to happen. And really, I mean, probably one of the few people who still care about the space. Oh, we had another space shot. So we sent somebody to the space station. People don't care anymore. Kids do, and they're very interested. And they create amazing things, and they don't need the kids. They don't need the kids. They can build it out of anything. Okay. We can go further. Okay. I'll just one sentence we take apart everything, from old typewriters to alarm clocks to whatever the kids bring in. Oh, my mother didn't need this yellow foam. Remember the Harvest Gold from the 70s? Well, this was the yellow foam. I took it apart and started making something else from it. So a screwdriver, and that's all it takes, a screwdriver, maybe two Phillips and a regular, are just as important as a crayon in an art class. Kids need to take things apart. They love making all kinds of versions of phones, of cameras, video cameras, and it's just wonderful. There's no problem in adding candies to it. Or there was one I remember there, you open up and look inside, there's a wedding going on inside the camera. Little figures she made. I mean, it's just such a great takeoff on these ordinary objects. This is an example of, this is iPhone 14, we're way beyond that. Okay, this again, just the CDs and these few computer parts that you can harvest and put together in different ways. And they have their story and explanation is the art. It's not the extra. So having them talk about their work is part of the art. Okay. So don't cut that off. That's really like cutting into the artwork. These are just they love flashlights. So whenever I can get flashlights from a yard sale or Goodwill, whatever, if they're 25, 50 cents, I buy flashlights. They do incredible revisions of the flashlight idea. Another flashlight. They love secret containers, compartments. I mentioned pencil cases, lunch boxes, treasure chests, things where they can put their special things. A bike, of course, a tricycle, a bicycle is a wonderful memory. They know that on Monday, and the kids share secrets, and it's a nice time. You know, you can spend a little time sharing secrets. Where do you look for your treasures? And they know that on Monday, on Maxwell Street in Lexington, Kentucky, that the bike store throws out a lot of parts. Well, knowing that opens up all kinds of possibilities. Again, this is just out of small things to make furnishings and to rehearse and to play with, whether you're doing the interior of an airport or a private home. I don't know this one. Let's just go back. They like beds. They like making beds for their play figures. Even G.I. Joes have to go to sleep. So they make great beds, wonderful ideas for beds. everything is a mask, a beekeeper's mask, a diving mask, you know, a welder's mask. You know, it's not just African masks. There are incredible masks of all kinds, and then the kids love to put them on and try them on and make their own versions of different masks. This is another phone taken apart and refurbished. This was a spacecraft of sorts, and the soft rollers are wonderful. I have a box that says on the box, this is the largest box of hair curlers. It has 10,000 pieces, and just the 10,000 pieces is delight to dig through. You know? They're all colors, all shapes, but you have these fun boxes where you have 10,000 of something. Again, a robot and kind of a space creature, but from found things that were in the room and some that they brought in themselves. I think Hercules maybe on the bottom. Kids love making one of the richest American histories of game boards. Beautiful game boards. Many books are available on game boards, and kids are very good at making up their own games. They make up the pieces, they make up the rules, and then they play with each other. So all these games, we use marbles for some of them, just because I'm coming from Hungary, everybody in my generation played marbles, so they have. But this is just a game made up, and supermarket boxes covered with paper, and they have all the rules to it. Okay. I love to use play pools. I think they're very important. They're important for archaeological digging. They're important for almost anything. I mean, we use it for a circus. Well, a circus in water, though, because some animals never had a chance to be in a circus. So. We use it for all kinds of water plays, and it's a great shopping site because it opens. You know, a toy box, you see what's on top, but the best stuff is always on the bottom in the toy box. So you have to, you open it up by putting it in a. And this is a good bumper because this is played with marbles, so there's a bumper. Again. Just one more. I myself like suitcases. Occasionally we get a very old paper cardboard suitcase, which is wonderful to paint on and draw and open it up into playhouses. Now remember, all things that can be held, that have a handle, anything that can be pushed or pulled will make it more fun as a toy. Anything that has wheels will make it more fun as a toy. So that's why if you open up a suitcase, there's a whole world inside. I remember Anna opening up my car trunk. I just brought it home from the dealer, and I was so careful with it. She opens up the trunk and puts everything, all her play furniture, her dolls in the trunk, and makes this great setting inside. But you need a container. So sometimes I just take out some kitchen drawers, and play inside. Have a fun container to play inside, just like having a Barbie or a Star Wars container that you can carry, and then they can take it home and continue building on it. Okay, I think that's good. Yeah. I mean, there's too many. Yeah, kids love making their own towels, and then this is simply made on a very inexpensive lining, fabric lining. They like making their own carpets. They like making their own pillow covers. They enjoy these float. These slippers float because they're on rubber. But a whole beach outfit, all kinds of summer gear. I collect beach towels. I can't wait every year when the season starts, because there are some amazing beach towels that you can find. And it's a nice collection. So when you play with the pool, you put the beach towels around the pool, and you and you're on the islands. You know, the kids lie down, and it's already a happy occasion. Okay. Thanks very
Very good.
much. Thank you. George,